Good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to the session on field service automation. We are going to be talking about a very, very interesting topic, and I look forward to lots of interesting questions about what is field service automation, what are its benefits, how it all works, what's the ROI. We'll also have a short demo, which will give you a much better idea on how this works. And then we'll follow it up with a question and answer session. Please put all your questions into the questions box that you see on your screen. We will answer all of them towards the end of the session. The more questions there are, the more interesting it will be. Look forward to a very, very interesting session. My name is Kumar Malampalli. I am the co-founder of Randwick IT Consulting, and I have been working in the field of IT for over 30 years. It gives me great pleasure to be with you today on this extremely interesting topic. I'm joined today by with Andrew Knox, who's the Vice President, Sales and Marketing for MSI Service Pro. Andrew brings a deep understanding on the ERP ecosystem. He has lots and lots of knowledge on how ERP integrates with B2B software. He also has been responsible for setting up the channel sales organization, and he fosters a very strong ERP partnership ecosystem. That's Andrew for you. Andrew, a warm welcome and a good morning. It's early in the day for you, so nice to see you here. Early.
No, it's great. Thanks for having us. We're excited. Thank you, Kumar.
Thank you. I'm also joined by Tyler Hart. Tyler is a solution engineer. He's got deep understanding of the technical domain, the landscape, how the entire field service automation system works, and his heart is in problem solving. He's successfully designed and implemented various solutions across the industry. Tyler, warm welcome once again. Good morning.
Thanks. Looking forward to today's session.
Same here. Good afternoon once again, everyone. And as I mentioned, if you have any questions anytime throughout the session, please feel free to put them into the question answer box, and we'll be happy to answer them towards the end of the session. We'll start with the most a basic question because we have a mixed audience from different industries. So we'd like to start by setting a baseline, right? What is field service automation? So Andrew, I'll have you to explain this. You are the expert, so over to you.
Yeah, so when we think of field service automation, we're thinking about the part of the business that we refer to as the field service operations group, right? And so field service automation refers to, utilizing technology or things that are going to complement your existing workflows and processes to help with streamlining, various aspects of it or enhancing different aspects of it. Again, it's all about encompassing a few different areas of this field service operation. So when we think of the creation of a service ticket or a task or an order, all the way to assigning that order to the right person and scheduling that job, right, or that service request to be done. So the scheduling and dispatching aspects of it can be digitized, streamlined, or automated in various ways. And then when the technician's out on site or when you're going to work on that service request or that service ticket, it's capturing the accurate details while on site to pass that information back into your ERP, right? And so that's how we look at this. But around that whole thing is being able to track and report on different aspects of that entire process so you can see, what's improving, where there needs to be more improvement, how things are working. It's all around improving that field service operations, though, at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I mean, while we'll be talking more about the ROI as we go along, it's very obvious that moving from manual tracking system to something which is completely automated has inherent benefits and can make a huge difference in the service levels industry. So that brings me to the next logical question, right? What industries are we talking about here? Which industries would Service Pro target in terms of getting the best benefits out, and what kind of KPIs can we measure? Who are the kind of people who should be using field services? If you could talk a little more about this, Andrew, that would be great.
Perfect. There's a lot on this slide, so I will break it down for everybody, I promise. So when we think about where we're focused to provide the best or maximize the most value for a field service organization or that field service operations division. It's across these 9 verticals or industry segments. So things like power generation and energy, mechanical and HVAC, contractors, heavy equipment, machinery, just to name a few, right? I won't read off the slide. But these folks are equipment-centric or service-centric organizations, and that's where this technology can come in and provide the most value. It's for organizations that are trying to gain visibility into their organization, their field service operations, in order to maximize their service profitability at the end of the day. So a few of the business KPIs that we've started to really lean into that our clients and prospects are telling us they need help with are things like average response time, right? Technician utilization. How efficient are the technicians that I have in place? Do I really need to hire that next one? Do I need to hire 2 more? Or do I just need to reconfigure how I have my existing workforce utilized, right? But if you're not able to understand how to track that, it makes it very, very difficult. Other things like first time fix rate. We don't want to do return trips. We don't want to do extra truck rolls. So it's gaining the visibility into these areas of your service operations so that you can improve them, right? Or ensure that they're running at the right quality. When we think about the people that are usually involved in these sorts of decisions or these areas of the business, we always stick with the field technician as the power user, or that field worker, right, is that power user, because at the end of the day, that's where we're trying to really have the largest impact in improving their quality of work and helping them do their job more efficiently, quicker, better, right? Of course, the service manager is going to be involved in conversations like that. He or she will want to make sure that they have visibility into their team, that they're able to manage that service workforce. And usually that's rolling up through the operational side of the business. So COOs, VP of operations, those personas are people that we're working with at all times. Now, in this day and age, since COVID, we've noticed the CFO and the finance side of the house plays a lot of roles in technology purchases. So we've brought them into the fold. But when you think about this pitch, it makes sense because we're talking about an integrated solution to their ERP or their accounting system. Those people need to be involved to understand how it's going to basically improve the workflow between those 2 systems. And then last, but definitely not least, it's the VP of IT or that CTO, right? It's that individual who really is going to love that this is an integrated solution, that we're going to digitize aspects or automate aspects of their users' technology stack, but it's to improve various pieces along the processes or the operation side, right? So those are some of the people that we're always trying to keep involved in these conversations, because if you have all of them involved in making these decisions, you usually are making the best decision for the company instead of the best decision for just one division, right? So we always like to include all of these folks throughout our process. When we're talking about end market types, the best case scenario is this triangle model where you can have a relationship with the manufacturer. It could be a piece of heavy equipment, like a Caterpillar tractor or Komatsu dealer, right? Or a distributor and service provider of that manufactured product, right? And then the service contractors, obviously, they're performing service on the piece of equipment or following that process. Now, if you can build a value for all 3 of those in that triangle, the ability to deliver, maximize efficiency is perfected.
Yeah, absolutely. And as an end user, right, or rather a person who would have used anything in his life, I can absolutely relate to this. If I have a problem and if it can be addressed first time, right, quickly and without asking 100 different questions and reaching out to 10 different people, I'd be a happy customer. So it utterly and absolutely makes sense. And I am certain that without automation, a large part of this is going to be extremely painstaking. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but people are doing it, but it's painstaking. So
Right.
that leads to the next logical question, right? What kind of problems are we trying to address here, and what benefits does automation bring in? We touched upon the KPIs, but there are certain specific areas where I guess the benefits come up much more strongly. So if you could just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I know this is recorded, and I know that everyone's going to receive a copy of this recording, so I won't read every single word on here. But when we started talking with the market, and as we've continued to invest in different market research and listen to our clients of areas that they're really having problems versus that feature function bells and whistles that a lot of technology vendors will move forward with, we really want to understand where we're going to maximize the value to our client and then their end clients. So when you look along the left-hand side, here's some key problems that we've been understanding and been able to identify within the field service industry, right? And then along the right-hand side, corresponding ways that our application platform is able to solve those pains, those gaps, those issues or problems within the industry. So things like just lack of proper data collection in the field, right? So it causes multiple visits, it causes multiple manual efforts. So when you think of how a lot of folks within the service organizations or service operations teams are operating, they're using a Outlook calendar or a whiteboard or a chalkboard to schedule their workout. And then they're using paper still to capture some of that data while in the field. Well, bringing a mobile experience on a tablet or a phone and digitizing that process to capture that information and then ensure that it flows back to the back office, either into an ERP or another system that you want that to flow, right? It improves that first time fix rate. It improves the data flow. And at the end of the day, everyone wins. The back office wins, right? Leadership, technician wins because they don't have to duplicate their work. And the client wins because their job gets done right the first time, right? And so having a mobile experience to really digitize the capture of that information is truly, truly important. One of the benefits of our solution is it's a true mobile experience. So you download it to the phone across all the major operating systems, and it works both online and offline. And that could mean just an area of the state, the country, the county of where you're at that just doesn't have adequate cell service. Or a lot of the times these individuals are working within a building or a warehouse that also doesn't get service. If the mobile experience doesn't work, they might as well go back to paper. So ensuring that it can store that data and then push it back when you receive connection is super important, right? That integrated ERP, right? So days sales outstanding, having a high DSO is so painful for organizations today. And it's just caused usually by disconnected systems or poor processes, right? And so having that integrated solution with your field service management platform and your ERP, it just reduces that time to invoice. And so we're all about shortening the window from when a work order is received to when an invoice is sent out to a client. If we can help in that process, it's truly important for the client, right? And then the other one I want to highlight here is just a low customer satisfaction score. You're mishandling the agreement or contract, not scheduling it on time. You're missing maintenance or preventative maintenance windows. And utilizing a technology to help you automate aspects of this workflow or this process can really help you improve the on-time completion rate of those tasks or those service requests, therefore improving your clients' customer satisfaction scores that they're giving you. And it's really going to help the quality of life for your technicians or field workers as well. And so those are just a couple of the problems how Service Pro and our platform can solve them, right? And so this is just a couple of ways that I wanted to highlight while we're together, but love to always dig in more as we continue these conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. And most importantly, right, it's a mix of having better customer satisfaction and being able to utilize technicians and improve the billing rate so that you're investing money to make customers happy, but you need to make sure that you're utilizing them appropriately and there is no leakage. Automation obviously helps in that aspect very, very well.
Absolutely.
The next thing that I just wanted to talk about was how this whole thing works. And I thought this is where we bring in Tyler, our technical genius. Tyler, this is a very complex domain, right? There are so many moving parts, and people are literally moving as well. So there's so much happening all the time. So it would be nice to know how this all is put together and how it works. And a reminder to everyone in the audience, you can put in questions as you go along, and we'll answer them towards the end of the session. Yeah, over to you, Tyler.
Perfect. Yeah, and Kumar, as you said, there are many moving parts sometimes to field service operations, right? And so what Service Pro is trying to do is create one pane of glass to manage that service process. And so when we think about what the Service Pro application is, it's actually those three components we see in blue center screen. Now, Service Pro typically integrates to that ERP system because, again, we're trying to drive efficiency through a connected system. And so Service Pro will actually typically pull over your customer tables, your customer addresses, your inventory locations, your inventory items into the system. So that way, you're not rekeying data into Service Pro from your ERP. That also goes for billing purposes. As work is completed, Andrew just touched on, we want to reduce that days sales outstanding so you can invoice quicker. And so that's where, as work is being completed in Service Pro, we're actually pushing the data typically back to that ERP system so you can then invoice that service work correctly and timely. Now, what makes up Service Pro as part of that is the three components. So we have a back office where you can quickly tee up service orders, but you can also manage customer equipment, customer preventative maintenance schedules per contract. And as you generate all of that work, we do have a scheduling component as well. So that way you can quickly identify the right field engineer technician. So that way there's no follow-up trips. And you can quickly get that work to them via a drag and drop schedule board. As you're managing orders, scheduling work out, then it all flows to the mobile component, which we'll see here shortly. But that mobile component, as Andrew had stated, is offline capable, and it's actually available through iOS, Android, and Windows marketplaces. So as a resource in the field, whether I prefer to work on a tablet, my phone, or just continue to use my Windows laptop, I have my choice. It's all the Service Pro mobile application. But what that does is it allows me to track my labor correctly, my inventory correctly, even pull up documentation on assets and customers, including site and service history. So I'm not having to call back into the office and waste time on a billable work order. And so those are the core components of Service Pro: back office, a scheduling, and a mobile. And this is where now we'll actually see these components in action here shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it okay if I just ask one audience question? Something has come up which is relevant to this. So can we customize it to fit a customer situation? How flexible is Service Pro? I thought since we are on the topic, maybe I can just pop this question now.
Yeah, it's a good question. So rather than having to start from the ground up and building a total custom solution per customer, we like to say it's about 80% off the shelf, but we leave room for configurability. We know everyone's business is different. And so that's where we actually provide a training approach, and we'll work with you in ways that will teach you how to configure the system to where you can go in, turn certain tabs on or off, but even the mobile experience to where, hey, your technicians, maybe you don't want them to see inventory from certain locations. You can control that information.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks. That answers that. And we will move to the demo. So Tyler, I'll stop sharing my screen and over to you. Yeah, there you go.
All right. And so we had just seen those three core components of Service Pro on that last slide. There is a back office component, a scheduling component, a mobile component. All three of those components, though, go back to the overall goal of driving your service profitability. Now, what's important is we need to be able to identify and benchmark where we're profitable or maybe where we're not profitable. So that way we can make changes in a timely fashion using our service solution. And so that's where we're going to log into Service Pro here. And what we're looking at is actually the view. If I'm a CFO or a general manager, this is what I'm seeing in the solution. As you log into the system, you're going to be able to benchmark whatever those KPIs or metrics are that you deem as profitable. And if you're saying, well, actually, we don't have any today, well, that's where we can actually provide you some examples off the shelf. And those are based on industry benchmarks and research. And we see some of those right here, center screen. Because as a general manager, when I log in and get started for the day, maybe I'm curious, what's my average time to complete a work order? What's my average response time from the time a customer reaches out to me to the time a field resource is actually on site? Because that drives a healthy customer satisfaction score. What's my first time fix rate? Because again, another truck roll is another cost and reduces my billings. Another big one though to keep an eye on, that technician utilization. How can I use the Service Pro schedule board to drive that number higher? Because I see it sitting low, which again is missed revenue because I know my field team is not at full capacity. And so this is just the first step, because if you've got a service solution, but we're not identifying where we're missing those extra billings or further revenue, it's going to be hard to manage our service business. And so this allows us to keep score. Now from this screen here, though, let's talk about maybe average response time, because when we think about how do we spin up an order, we want to be able to spin up an order in a timely fashion to identify the customer, get the work to the technician, and get that technician to the customer site. So how do we do that? Well, up top, you're going to have all these tabs available to you. Again, one pane of glass. And so when we think about creating a service order in a timely fashion, that's where we have that order tab up top. When a customer reaches out, calls you up, maybe sends you an email, says, hey, we need you to come look at a piece of equipment. This is where we can hit the new order button up in the top left. And because of that integration that we typically have, we're going to pull over those customer records. And so we can start to type in that customer that's reaching out to us, or even a contact. And as we click into that customer name, we've got a service order. Now that's how quickly we can tee up a service order. Of course, we want to get the right information filled into the service order to communicate it correctly to the technician. And so this is where you're going to have the ability to tag various fields, even add notes, pictures, documentation to the work order. But most importantly, when that customer reaches out to you, they're probably saying, hey, I need you to look at a specific piece of equipment. You know, hey, this generator on the east side of the building is not functioning. Or this espresso machine is not working right. We need you to come troubleshoot it. And so when you tee up a service order in the system and we scroll all the way down, we have the ability to set equipment lists against that customer site. And so that way, when we create a work order, we can communicate internally and to the technician that specific serialized asset that needs to be looked at. That way there's no questions. As part of that, we can also automate the tracking of warranty details against it. So that way, if there's a parts warranty, parts coverage, labor coverage, we're covering it automatically. We're all on the same page. That is how we quickly tee up a service order in the system, add the right details to it, even add a piece of equipment. But it's all about a quick response time. And so as we scroll up here and hit save and close, where this actually flows now is to your schedule board under the scheduler tab. And we'll see that in just a second. Because as we get ready to schedule out that reactive work, another one of those metrics that we're trying to keep score on is PM on time completion. And we've got all these service agreements for our customers. And it's important that we hit those deadlines, because if we're missing preventative maintenance visits, those customers are getting angry with us and they don't want to renew. It's lost revenue, lost profit. And so keeping that number healthy is important. Well, how does Service Pro help us with that? We have a contract function. What this contract function does is it allows you to set up reoccurring schedules against customer equipment. And so as a general manager, I can now go in here and say, the month of August is wrapping up. What preventative maintenance is due for the month of September? Let's generate that and get it to the schedule board. Well, rather than going into an Excel file, you can now just go into the system and say, hey, show me everything due during the month of September. With one click along the right-hand side, we can now spin up 160 preventative maintenance service orders. And we save time doing it. We can generate reactive work. We can generate preventative maintenance. Ultimately, again, a single pane of glass. So now we can schedule it out. And it's about high utilization and the right technician, to which we can now jump into our scheduler tab with all of our work generated. We see our field resources along the left-hand side. We see their workloads for the week and next week across the board. At the bottom of the screen, highlighted in blue, we see the work that we just generated from that reactive call-in. This is where we can drag and drop, and as soon as we do so, this is where our field resource, in this case Scott Smith, is going to be able to pick it up through the Service Pro mobile app and complete it in the field. Ultimately, though, as that work is being updated in the field, this is where through the visual schedule board, we can see everybody's schedule, even down to the half hour or hour. So that way, again, we can drive a higher utilization. Hey, I see that my technicians each only have one work order per day. I know they've got plenty more that they could be doing out in the field. We're able to see that and drive more work orders to each individual. Now, this is where we've been operating from a general manager back office standpoint. As we communicate these details to the field here, though, this is where if we assign work to the field, it now does flow to that mobile experience, which we see here on screen. And so if I'm a technician in the field, whether it's on my tablet, phone, or again, Windows app through the Windows Store on my laptop, this is where now I can just pick up the work in the field. You don't have to email me a PDF. I don't have to go into the office and pick up a piece of paper. I can simply now tap in and complete my work order details. Now, throughout the life of the work order, it's important to keep visibility and communication across the organization. And so this is where the mobile app feeds the schedule board. Where as a technician in the field, I update my status of, hey, I'm on my way, or I've started my work. And you may have caught in the background, it updated on the schedule board as well. So that general manager, that service manager, that service coordinator is not going to be calling us in the field, trying to figure out where we're at with our work. As we're out in the field, though, again, first time fix rate is important. And so that means we need to know customer details, whether it's specific instructions, whether it's service history against the site or equipment. This is where now the mobile app is our guide, because we can now open up and see, here's what I specifically need to look at. When I tap into that compressor, I can see the warranty details on it. I can confirm the serial. And as I scroll down here, even track the components, run hours, and service order history. That way, I've got a 360 view on the asset to see what's been done previously, what parts have been used, who was the last one to work on it. From there now, I just perform my work. And as work is then completed, the mobile app is where I can track my work order details, such as what parts did I use? Well, that's where I can just hit the blue plus sign next to inventory and quickly allocate maybe that oil filter we pull off the truck. How long did it take us? Well, we're not going to have to jump around for that. We simply hit the blue plus sign next to actual time, and we're able to capture labor. That is how the mobile application can be used to track customer and equipment service history, while also logging material and labor. As we complete that work now, this is where, as a general manager, as a CFO, you can then enforce that all the necessary details are captured through requiredness on mobile. Because as a technician, I might get caught up in fixing that piece of equipment, and we don't want to have to do a follow-up trip because we forgot a customer signature or a picture of the asset. And so this is where now you can set requiredness to which I'm reminded to capture that customer signature or maybe complete a checklist on mobile. Otherwise, as work is now wrapped up, we're on to that next job here as your technician in the field. That is how Service Pro helps you drive service profitability by having the back office where you can identify and benchmark those metrics while spinning up service orders and getting them out to the right folks in the field. But also, Service Pro provides you that mobile experience to which folks in the field can pick up work in a timely fashion, capture accurate work order details, and now reduce that day's sales outstanding by getting it back to the office. And as we see here on screen, that work is closed, ready to be reviewed and billed. And so that's where I'll stop my share here. Appreciate the chance to walk everyone through the solution here, but I'll go ahead and stop my share.
Excellent, Tyler. Very nice and short and sweet. I know we have very limited time, but that was great. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So coming back to the Q&A session. So and thanks. I can see that questions have started popping in. So I'll start with one, Andrew. We just saw the demo. It's very easy to use. I can obviously see that you would have technicians using their phones, and you have back office people who are setting up this structure and so on. But taking a step back, what kind of measures should companies take to prepare for this transition? What level of preparedness is needed? What kind of training, or what is the overall process that we need to deploy to get this moving? This question is from Farid.
Yeah, it's a good question. So when we're working with some of our clients, or we're talking about taking on field service automation technology or field service management platform, they have to understand there's going to be change management involved. And that includes existing processes and workflows that they had in place. There will have to be adjustments or changes to them, right? When they adopt technology. Technology is configurable. Of course, it's customizable if you want. Ideally, you want to stick to configurable, because then the ability to have to maintain and change any of those things on an annual or quarterly basis becomes more burdensome, or more of a task for both the vendor and the client to take on. Now, always can be done. We always tell people to avoid customizations if possible, but change management is going to be a part of it, because processes will change. Now, there's kind of two different paths of implementation. There's a big bang where you roll it out to everybody across the organization that's going to be utilizing technology, right? And there's a specific set of plans that you need to have in place for that. Or you start with like a test group or a pilot group, and you get some champions, you get some folks that are going to help you push and train the rest of the organization. So you start with maybe 10%, 20% of the org, or one division, or one location, right? Get that really tight, make sure that they're using it properly, make sure that it's working well, everyone likes how it's working, and they understand how to leverage it. And then they help you go to the rest of the organization to roll it out. So there's a few different approaches to, rolling a field service automation solution out. But at the end of the day, ensuring that you have training in place, right? With that change management, that could be in-person, digital, could be documents, it could be virtual, self-paced training, right? E-learning. We have all of those available because we've seen the need for all different paths of training and enablement for people that are deploying this in their organization. Yeah.
Absolutely. And even we, as you're aware, right, we also have an academy which can do trainings, and especially I would say if your technicians need to do training and then repeat training, I guess that's also a very important way to make sure that they understand how to use the system optimally. And if you have certainly a new technician coming in, you want to retrain, that is also a very important aspect. There's one question. I think this is we did talk about this, but maybe there's a question from Money, and which is like, what industries would benefit from this integration, or is it universally applicable across various industries, and especially industries which you have not talked about? So that is maybe a quick answer to that as well, Andrew.
Yeah. So we did talk about it a little bit, right? We have our core 9 verticals or industry segments that we feel like we perform a really, really positive experience for. Now, of the hundreds of clients that are utilizing our platform, there's some that don't fit in those buckets. And so we have organizations with aspects of their business like facility services. That wasn't listed there. We have a really good experience for facility service organizations, right? There's other areas of the business. Now, again, it's folks that are working on like different types of assets, piece of equipment, right? Or they're following an installation or maintenance or break fix service workflow or process. Our technology is going to provide a pretty solid solution for. And from somebody coming from paper to something, it's going to be a game changer. If it's somebody coming from an existing solution, maybe it's a homegrown built solution they've built and developed over time, or it's one of the lighter tools that was cheap and easy to adopt just to get something in place to really start moving the needle, which is a great first step. We'll help you elevate that as you go across that field service maturity model, right? And you continue to mature and optimize that part of the business. Now, we have our core ones, right, that we talked about earlier in the organization. It's definitely not applicable to everyone across every segment because there's needs and desires of folks that work in different areas that just aren't going to fit our platform, and that's okay. And we'll be very upfront and honest with you because a good opportunity for you is going to be a good opportunity for us versus trying to fit our solution where it does not fit. It's not the right way for us.
Absolutely. I think I hear you. Moving from paper to full automation, I guess the benefits would be absolutely enormous. The next question, this is I guess better. This is, how does field service automation impact inventory management? I think that's a huge cost, right? And sometimes spares and holding inventory can make a huge difference to how much the cash flow is looking like, and how much cost you're incurring to run your service operation. So can Service Pro help in optimizing stock levels and reducing costs in this specifically in this area?
It can. And so that ERP system is still going to be your system of record for, purchasing, receiving, managing those reorder points. But now you're going to have a system that actually speaks to that. And so you're not left guessing. And so, Kumar, you hit it right where, you're going to have sunk cost because you're not managing your inventory correctly or billing it out correctly. And so this is when you'd have a service solution where you can track commitment against truck stock, van stock, or hey, I pulled a part from the main warehouse. We now need to reallocate parts to that because we no longer have them there. You're going to have that communication now.
Yep, absolutely. I think having real-time information makes the huge difference, right? In knowing the exact level of consumption through the day. Yeah. Just a follow-up question on the implementation side, Tyler. What is a typical duration for, say, a 50-member engineering field engineer team size? This is from one of the attendees.
Sure. So we've seen standard implementation projects run anywhere from about 3 to 4 months. And there is some variability just naturally, right? With either user acceptance testing, configuration, but good place to start about 3 to 4 months.
Absolutely. I think that takes us to a logical next question. What would be the ROI? We understand now it takes about 3 to 4 months, typical implementation. What would be the ROI if we choose to implement field service automation?
Sure. And we actually have an ROI calculator, which we can work with everyone on as well if they want to see the hard numbers. But the ROI comes from, just think about what's one more billable work order per technician per week.
Yeah.
Inventory wise, what's the money that you're saving by being able to track that inventory correctly? Those are some of the things to be thinking about. Or even, first time fix rate. What's the money saved by not having one extra truck roll to a job site per week? So that's what goes into developing that ROI.
Okay. So yes, I think to answer the question, right? Use the calculator. It has a simple way of telling you how you run your day-to-day operations, and you will be able to easily compute the ROI. So it's very simple. You know what are the various aspects. It's just a question of putting some science onto it. One question, Andrew, can it be integrated with any tier 1 ERP? Do we need any kind of connectors or anything specific to do this?
We have several ERP integrations that are out of the box, off the shelf, right? That we have available within our existing portfolio. And then if there are other ones that are not within that, we have the ability through third-party partnerships or working with your organization to ensure that those connectors are in place. Now, I say it that way because every customer has different aspects of what they want pulled from their ERP into our platform, and then from our platform pushed back. And so we have a sum, right? Tier 1 ERPs that are available today that we have been working on for several years, others where we work through third parties, and then others where we've worked directly with the client and their IT organization to utilize our APIs, which are available to connect into. So it depends, but yes, we do have the ability to ensure that we have the path forward for that.
Absolutely. I think that's just to address, more, I would say, like, as far as I'm aware, almost every tier 1 is already covered, right? You already have out of the box integrations available. The next question, Tyler, this probably is for you. This is from Mehboob. Is there an algorithm to optimize the route a technician should take to kind of make this a little more efficient and reach the customer side quickly?
Sure. So at the moment, our current version of the schedule board does not have an algorithm. It is drag and drop. However, it is an initiative that our product team is currently investigating as part of roadmap.
Oh, okay, sure. Thank you. And if there are any other questions, we'll be happy to answer. Meanwhile, I'll just, maybe a quick few minutes. Andrew, you want to just give a summary of what you are and what, company, about your company?
Yeah, so our organization, MSI Data, has our core product, which is Service Pro. That's our field service automation platform that we provide to the market. Our philosophy or our motto, right, is we're all about helping our clients gain visibility into their service organizations in order to maximize their field service profitability. At the end of the day, if we can deliver on those aspects of the client's desire, we have fulfilled what we were trying to accomplish. We're based fully in the Wisconsin area in the United States, out of the city of Milwaukee, founded in 2010. And again, when we think about where we focus on equipment-centric field service management organizations. So they're providing service on assets, equipment, machines, or they're following different processes that follow the same workflows and sequences as those providing that product service, but providing installations, right? They're doing installations of different pieces of equipment, repairs, maintenance or preventative maintenance, and then again, inspection. So following those similar processes, that's where we have a really good fit to provide maximum value. Started a partnership with Reinbrook earlier this year. It's been going really well. And as you can see, we're doing a few more things together. So it's been very exciting to find an organization that has the capabilities and experience that the Reinbrook group does. And it just extends our reach to provide more value to more clients across the globe. So at the end of the day, it's been a very successful partnership thus far. Really looking forward to continuing and enhancing that. As the person responsible for sales and marketing, it's always fun and passion projects for me to do things like this. So it's been very exciting. Today, we deliver in a multi-tenant cloud. And again, as we talked about earlier throughout the presentation, our mobile application is native within all the major operating system stores, and it works both online and offline to ensure that connectivity never drops for the technician while they're working on their job.
Yeah, absolutely. I think having an offline application also works very well in this region, right? You have a lot of remote sites, oil field services, very, very, back and beyond kind of locations where we cannot be sure that there'll be connectivity. So having an online, offline, smooth transition makes a huge difference. Perfect. Briefly about Reinbrook, to those of you who have who are joining us for the first time for a session. We are a European company with a strong footprint in the Middle East. We have 3 offices in the Middle East with presence in UAE as well as KSA. We have delivery centers across multiple countries in the region, and we have a large number of customers. Our focus is to deliver solutions and services that fit your business needs. And a session like this today as well is aligned with that, right? We want to make sure that we are addressing specific needs of the region, addressing needs of all of you in terms of ensuring that while we are delivering ERP solutions, we are also adding sufficient value to ensure that the ERP solution gives you the maximum ROI in terms of add-on solutions like field service, which makes your overall operation much more efficient. So with this, I'd like to actually run a very, very quick poll. And if those of you who are interested in understanding the solution a little more, we'd like to know if there are anybody like that. So if you could just quickly answer that poll, that would be great. So Nitya, could you please run the poll? So if you could just please quickly share your thoughts on, and also we would of course love to hear from you if you have any feedback on the session or you want to discuss something else. We'll be more than happy to reach out to you. All those who are here, as Andrew mentioned as well earlier, we will share recording with you. If you have a look at the recording and if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to us and ask your questions. Andrew, maybe while people are responding to the poll, could you give a quick, few minutes on success stories? I know you talked about hundreds of customers, but maybe, just to give an idea, there are customers across various industries, so it would be good to quickly hear a little bit about them.
Yeah, so we have a couple that we wanted to share here. You can read these for sure, but the key that we wanted to share with the group here is that we have various success stories with clients across different ERPs in different verticals. Not all are providing, in this page alone, not all are providing equipment-centric service. There is an organization, Roth Living here. It's more of an installation service-based organization and offering that they have. But we have tremendous clients, one that does overhead door installations and service with Piedmont Door Solutions here in the United States. Tremendous client of ours. They've been really good to us, and it's a great partnership. And then Roth Living, like I just mentioned, is more in an installation model versus recurring preventative maintenance service. It's just a different offering, but our application has been able to fit their integrated need with their ERP, plus the processes that they're putting forth as a part of their portfolio of offerings to their end clients. Right? WPI is a large Komatsu dealer here in the United States. Tremendous story that we have together, long-time partnership. And again, the partnership is so strong. I could almost say that they're one of the best extensions of my sales team. They do such a tremendous job sharing their stories for us. And they just have such good things to say. And so we're so humbled that we've been able to provide such a good experience across their business to deliver on. We've improved their warranty capture, right? We've improved their service organization, their scheduling organization, right? We've been able to really improve a lot of different aspects of their business. Unitemp Refrigeration, BTU Group. Again, just a couple more logos that I wanted to share as a part of this to demonstrate that our solution works across various vertical segments and again, across various ERPs. Now, I know it doesn't call it out on this page, but this group is made up of about 4 different ERPs across the 5 logos. So the key here is making sure that we're not only telling you what we can do, right, but we're demonstrating it and showing you to back that up. So that was the point of this, is just to share a few stories and logos. Again, you absolutely can read a little bit more about some of these on our website because we have case studies with them. And of course, if you have questions, we absolutely will take that after the session.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that just to reinforce, right? Different vertical segments and different ERPs, different nature of business, different applications of the same tool. So it's a fantastic story and very, very good. Thank you. And that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you, everybody. You've been great. Lots of interesting questions. Look forward to hearing from a lot more of you in the coming days. And thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Tyler. It was great to have you on one of our regular webinars. Look forward to more sessions from you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. Thanks a lot.
Yep. Thank you.